What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harland, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we are finally getting back to you guys with some Browns news, some Browns topics to cover today. We're going to be talking about and going over the Browns 2024, technically 2025 season schedule. Obviously, it's been out for a while, but, things have taken a bit of time here, but got all the Cavs stuff out. Getting back into the Browns. Guardians doing really well. Jeff, obviously you've been out there tweeting and doing other things around the Guardians, but all in all, you ready to talk some Browns?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting matchups on this schedule. I just think that it's going to be interesting to hear your thoughts on the general consensus of where we agree, where we disagree, where we have differing opinions.
Yeah, well, and I mean, this is a huge year, obviously. Lots to cement in place. Obviously, we're gonna have a video about the extensions for Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and what that means for the greater Cleveland Browns organization for them. But obviously, getting into the minutia of these games and everything. Week 1, there was all that talk about it being the Eagles game in Brazil. Now it doesn't. I don't even think that game sounds like any fun anymore. I don't know if you saw this stuff about it. They're going to have to go in armored vehicles and all that stuff.
Yeah,
they can't wear green. It wouldn't have been the Browns' problem, but wild stuff to hear about that game. But you do get the Dallas Cowboys at home on a 4:25 game, so probably going to be that's Fox for broadcasting, so probably a primetime game for that slot. Dallas, I've always got to take any team going against Dallas for just hating Dallas in general. But again, you're at home. It's a season opener and everything. You've got to win this game. I think Dallas could be a good team. But regardless, I think that's a game you absolutely have to come out and win just for the fact that you are this team now. The talent that you have here and everything, I think, outweighs Dallas. But in the end, they're not a serious franchise. We're trying to be a serious franchise. So that's what I got week 1.
How about we just let's just run through really quickly. We'll just
sure.
Refresh the viewers out there who have probably seen it on first glance, but let's just go week by week. Let's just see what's going on here. I'll just keep scrolling and you keep reading. Then I might be a little tougher for you, but we'll kind of circle back and then we'll kind of highlight individual weeks. Absolutely. Just think about what you want to talk about while we're going through.
Absolutely. Week 2, Jacksonville at Jacksonville. Again, another unserious team in my mind. I would have us winning. This one. And 3 weeks in a row, unserious teams. You got to win this one as well. And again, not just being like that win guy, but again, those 3 franchises. Maybe you give Dallas a chance in reality, but we'll come back to that. Las Vegas, a team that is borderline not serious right now. And that's a tougher one because it's at Las Vegas. They've got some good players, but, I don't think we know the quarterback for them as of right now. So, again, I'm going 4 straight wins in a row. Oh, God Christ. Washington.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Justin. I hate to be this guy where it's like doom and gloom, like the first third of the year is really what matters. But I'm at the point where I had the exact same reaction as you. If we don't win, if we don't win 3 of these games, at least I will say right now we will not be making the playoffs. If we lose 3 or 4 of these games somehow, it's going to be 2 and 3. I don't think it's going to get the job done.
I just can't see it with any of these teams realistically. I've seen some great things come out for Washington at the quarterback, but
they're not good though.
They're not good. Yeah, exactly.
All the favorable matchups, like I think here, like Dallas at home, Jacksonville. Who cares? I mean, It's going to be nice weather if they were playing in Cleveland. Probably it's not going to be as nice. New York.
Who cares?
All right, Vegas will probably be half Browns fans there. I'm gonna probably be at that game. Actually, little spoiler alert. But then at Washington, you have road games, but it's like you got to go 3-2 here minimum, and you have to go 4-1 here, and you cannot sustain any like major injuries, in my opinion, through the first.
And again,
5
like
weeks.
even just talking talent wise, coaching wise, I feel like the Browns have it in almost every department against every single one of these teams. But again, we're at that point where we've been doing this for years, so there's going to be a slip up here and there. We know it, but just prediction wise, all right, I feel like I have to just break the mold of going with wins, and I'll say this is a week 6 loss,
because this is where it gets hard. It's not like it gets like my issue after week 5 is like it's not like it gets like moderately harder. It gets like in theory extremely more difficult after the first 5 weeks.
Well, and again, Philadelphia, they get to the or they're not to the Super Bowl last year, but 2 years ago, take a first round exit to the Buccaneers last year, and again they go out, they have a okay offseason, they add Saquon Barkley, but I just can't have in my predictions 6 straight wins, even though I'm not a huge Eagles fan. Cincinnati, another unserious franchise. So, and in the division
for throats.
Well, I'm glad that this one is away, Jeffrey.
No, this is home.
So this is the home game. This is
in Philly at Philly, and then at home, and then at home again. Like it's not, but I mean. All things considered, if I had to bet on it, Cincinnati, that's going to be a difficult game, week 7. In my opinion, I understand that we kind of own them, but I don't bet any divisional game I think is going to be difficult, and both fans of all 4 of these teams should acknowledge that in the division, because at least these are back-to-back home games. Like you kind of get some help after going to Philly, because Cincinnati, Baltimore, back-to-back, and then
you get
the Chargers. You actually play 3 home games in a row right there, which is kind of cool.
And then you go into the bye week, which is nice.
Yeah, I'd say that's great.
I would say week 7. I still, for some reason, I don't like what's going on with Cincinnati. Mostly just because I did like Joe Burrow for a period of time there, but I think everything else is starting to crumble around him, and they're just not, again, like a serious franchise. This
is our classic 7. Week 7, 8, and 9 is the Cleveland Pulse Classic. Just win 2 out of 3.
Right.
Don't really care what the wins are. If you beat Cincinnati and you beat Baltimore and you lose to the Chargers, that's going to be a successful 3-week stretch to me, limping into the bye. Yeah,
I'd be upset. I'd be upset though if
you wouldn't be though.
I wouldn't be upset with the win. Like I wouldn't be upset if the Chargers are the loss, but like my only gripe with that is like, hey, you can't lose to a rookie head coach and a team that's
they're the worst. The Chargers have a potential to be like very not good this year. Like bottom of the barrel.
Likely, but Baltimore, obviously, I'm going to put that as a loss. I got us with 2 losses right now.
Even though that's the home game, you think we don't beat them at home?
Hey man, I mean, home field hasn't been one of those things for us, and once we start getting into November and December, it really isn't one of those things where you think, oh, home field advantage anymore.
And they're good. They're obviously good.
But I got us beating Chargers hardball. We already had one hardball to deal with. We'll own this one. But week 10 bye, great right in the middle of the season. You love that.
Yes.
Week 11 at New Orleans. Give me us Browns against New Orleans.
I totally agree. Even though that's a road game, I totally agree. That's a good little segue too. Chargers by Saints, like that's not too intimidating,
right? And especially going on a little bit of I think that's going to be leading. Oh no, this Pittsburgh game is at home. I thought we were going on a little away trip again, but Pittsburgh at home, Prime Video. Oh, disgusting.
Disgusting.
It's a Thursday night game. It's disgusting work. I got the Browns in this one. Again, Steelers are in a very odd place. They might have re-signed, Tomlin and everything, but what they've got going on at the quarterback position and just everywhere else is kind of up in airs, except for the defense. Obviously, their defense is going to be, I think, stellar again, but offensively, I just don't know what their plan is, what they're going to do with Ross, what they're going to do with Justin Fields, what they're going to do with that wide receiving core that's just kind of in shambles right now.
Their wide receiving core is definitely an issue. If they don't add anyone else, I think they're going to have some major troubles offensively.
Right.
Another year, I feel like just years on end of just complaining about who decides when these AFC North games get played on all of our schedules, because let's say the Steelers are above average again, however you want to quantify that. I think that the later we see them in the year, it's actually more of an advantage for them. I think if we would see them in the first like 4 or 5 weeks of the year, I'd feel super, super confident about that game. We have a more established base. At this point, you would assume they're going to know who the starting quarterback is, regardless of if it's Wilson or if it's Fields. And, but their schedule is very, very difficult as well. So we'll see. You have to win your home games in the AFC North. You have to.
That's fair. And we'll get into it, but the turnaround and talk about scheduling again to play Pittsburgh is not too far away. Denver, unserious franchise. That's a win, even if it's away. They really don't have anything going for them. And then again, not even 2 weeks later, you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers again at Pittsburgh.
Crazy.
So again, who knows? I don't know when their bye is. Maybe they get a bye in between us or not, but
I think they actually do. I think it's later than ours.
And it's weird, but I'm going to have the Browns probably winning that one. So right now, I think I have the Browns 3-1 in the AFC North.
How many losses do you have as total? 2 or 3? Philly?
I think only 2 as of right now, unfortunately. I mean, that's going to blow back on me, but I have Philly and I have Baltimore beating us at home.
Baltimore beating us at home.
This is where the third loss will come. Obviously, I'll have Kansas City beating us. I just think towards the end of the year, they're trying to perform, get that bye week and everything into the playoffs. They'll be playing hard. They're just a superior team, even when they're not overly talented. I just think Andy Reid's done miracles with that team and can't be understated. But I'm going to give Kansas City the win there.
Honestly, I understand. Like I've seen the graphics whether it's PFF or whoever saying that we have the hardest ranked strength of schedule. Obviously, everyone else in the AFC North is up there too. I'm not like opposed to I don't mind the travel. The traveling seems fine to me so far. We got a couple more games to go. The bye is good. The bye thing is really good. And I agree with you. Home field advantage is not the end all be all, but I don't know. I think that you really kind of saw the home field play really into our favor at the end of last year. Of course, there were circumstances, surrounding that as well. But it seems like you get the teams that are closer to our level at home compared to the road games. Like you get New Orleans on the road, Washington on the road, the Chargers on the road. Yeah. That's fine. You get the Chiefs at home. You get the Cowboys at home. So there's a lot to work with, I think, here.
Absolutely. And I forgot to mention
two
primetime games that we had before this one, Pittsburgh, and they were back-to-back. So we get Pittsburgh on Thursday night, and then we get
Monday.
We must have a bye week.
No, Thursday to Monday, like right here. Denver is the week.
Yeah, 13. but the Monday is in December. 11/21 to 12/02. That doesn't make it's. There's a bye week in between.
Well, it's just a Thursday to the
Monday. No, you're right.
Yeah, that's that is kind of like a mini bye.
Oh, so that's
those dates do look.
Great. I mean, that's great for us, but it's
why would they have our primetime games stacked like that?
Right, and then you go into week 16, and again you're playing Thursday night, and then you don't even know week 18 what the date is on that. But let's stick to the stuff that we got right now. So Cincinnati primetime Thursday night at Cincinnati. Again, I'm gonna have
video.
This is the Browns team that I'm all in on this year. Again, talent, coaching, just about everything that's going on with this organization has spoken to me, but I'm just kind of in this mode where I'm not going to accept if we go 11-6, I'll be a little bit disappointed because I'm wondering
Fair
now,
enough.
unless, obviously the divisional games are divisional games and they're tough, and I might be giving teams like the Bengals and the Steelers less credit than I should be, which I've done that before. But from where we ended last year, especially with Deshaun not playing an entire season, if he can stay healthy, again, this is a team that now we're talking about being a championship team, a championship type organization that should be competing for a couple of years to come now. So I got us winning that game. Miami Sunday night. part of me wants to say that's a little bit of a trap game, but Jeff, back to your point, another at-home game against a very good playoff team in the conference. So,
yeah, I think this is your issue, because this is my whole point earlier about you have to play really good through weeks 1 through 5, because to me, this is just a mess at the end of the year. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, you would imagine is competent, and then Baltimore again. It's not like the division. It's not like these bad divisions where you could, play a divisional game the last week of the year and it don't really matter. All these games, you have two. So you have 2 out of 4 divisional games to end the year, and you have 4 straight AFC games to end the year. That's a disaster as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, fighting for playoff spots, teams get desperate. Teams get hardy.
These are all AFC games. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last 7 out of the year, all going to be consequential.
Again, back to your point.
Games.
Back to your point about the beginning of the season. Lose 2 games, all right, you're fine. You lose 3, then you're in trouble. So, and it gives you a little bit of room to figure things out. But again, like I said, this is a team that's been together now, all the pieces, all the coaching pieces, 2 years now, 2 finalized years. And we looked great last year. Again, injuries come into play, and Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, offensive line, a bunch of different things going into play there. But I think, Jeff, I probably ended up there with only 4 losses, I think.
I mean, that's an optimistic look in my opinion, but is it totally, like out of the ordinary or like totally unbelievable? I don't think so. I think that in the AFC and in our division, probably closer to 5 or 6 losses is more of like a reality. And in my mind, like a goal to shoot for. I'm always been the big optics person. Like I'm not saying you're not going to be 100% perfect. You're going to lose the teams that you're better than, more talented than the NFL. But if you lose that Commanders game, if you lose the Saints game, if you lose the Chargers game, like you could beat the Chiefs and you could sweep the Steelers, and it'll all be good. But at the end of the day, just win the games you're supposed to win, compete in the games that are pretty evenly matched, and then just go from there. There's so many question marks right now still surrounding this team. When are you getting Nick Chubb back? Is he going to be in play, by the time that you're going to need him for, whenever that may be? At least, like I said, I don't really feel like you need Nick Chubb to win any of those first 5 weeks, which is really good for us. Obviously, you have stuff about Amari Cooper coming out recently, which I think gets resolved shortly, but it's not like let's mess around and hope we're 4-4 through 8 weeks. Like you have to have 5 or 6 wins through 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I'd like this team to just be, controlling its own destiny throughout the year. A couple of losses here and there, but that first 5 weeks is very generous, and especially if guys are healthy at the beginning of the season and you have a fully loaded team. Again, I just cannot understate it enough that this is a team that has to compete in every game and control most of them, if not all of them. Definitely not all of them, but a good majority of them, especially at the beginning of the year here. But Jeff, what do you think? You're leaning towards 5 or 6 losses this season?
Yeah, I think 6 losses is something you could shoot for, just in how stacked this AFC is. And it's just like we're at the first time in, well, we said it, I feel like last year too, but none of these teams are exponentially better than us.
Right.
Kansas City, I think that they're a better organization, and that they should be, a little bit of favorites in that game, even though that they're in Cleveland Brown Stadium on the road. Is Pittsburgh better than us? Not on paper, not talent-wise. Is Cincinnati like clear-cut more talented than us and should be a better roster? I don't think so. I think Baltimore, you give them a nod as far as roster composition and what they did last year, and just with Lamar Jackson being established and cemented. But he's injury worthy as well, as a lot of guys are in the NFL. So you stack up good against everybody in your division, everybody in the AFC. Not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be the furthest thing from that. But win the games you're supposed to win. Make sure you have a good record in the division, and make sure you have a good record in the AFC.
Yeah, and like you said, those games are backloaded, all those AFC games. So, like you said, if you make some mistakes early on, fine. Try not to make too many, but
Right.
as long as you guys get things rolling and it looks like a ship that's unboardable, then hey, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going. But Jeff, I think if that's all for you, good stuff. Thank you all for sitting through this. As always, make sure you guys are hitting that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. That helps us out a lot. Make sure you guys leave some comments. What do you guys think are going to be the final record down in the comments below? What games do you have us losing? What games do you think we should be looking out for more than others? And yeah, with that all being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.